guys, it's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be reacting to the Barcelona news over the past 48 hours where there is a lot of topics to discuss. First, we have an update on the pivot position with Oriol Romeu being the main target. We have updates on the right back position as well, who's going to be the planned starter and who the club are currently targeting in that position. Thirdly, the biggest news around Barcelona has been the fact that Vitor Roque operation is now 100% fully signed and done. Roque is a new Barcelona player, but the terms in the agreements have changed. Both the fixed and variable fees have changed with the updates on that, and also when he could be officially announced. But of course, with players coming in, players have to leave the club this summer. We have an update on the first team players leaving, like Ansu, Fati, Ferran, Torres, Franck, Kessie, Garcia. Also the loan players, Abde, Nico, Collado, Arnau Tenas maybe going out on loan, Pablo Torre going out on loan, Julian, Araujo going out on loan, Dest's future, Longlet's future, and even update on Gustavo Maya's future. Also some general updates around preseason. Also having to pay Valencia around 4 million euros in compensation for the Neto operation. We'll talk about that. And finally, Nike back-to-back slacking on Barcelona's home kit launch. Of course, last year couldn't supply enough kits, and they've done it again this year as well, and Barcelona are furious. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get to 200 likes in this video. Be very much appreciated. Also, if you're new, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Let's start off with the transfer news over the past 48 hours. Now, our first game we're talking about, of course, Barcelona's main priority currently in the transfer window, and that's, of course, to reinforce the pivot position, with Oriol Romeu right now being the main target. Now, Sport came out saying that Barcelona is already negotiating with Girona for Oriol Romeu. The deal is going to cost around 8 million euros fixed and variables. Now, of course, Sport not that reliable. How there's variables included in a release clause does not make sense. But 8 million fixed now is becoming more and more concrete about Romeu's release clause. Gabriel Sanz from Deportivo has come out saying the signing of Oriol Romeu is beginning to take shape. However, Xavi still hasn't ruled out the option of Sofiane Amrabat. I think Xavi might want him, but I think he's way out of the realms of Barcelona. And as we all know, the main reason why Xavi wants Oriol Romeu, according to Deportivo, is because he wants a player in the pivot position who understands positional play perfectly, and that's why he wants Oriol Romeu. Again, this signing, I believe, will hopefully take place some point next week. You have now, let me check the dates real quick. You have from July the 10th to July the 16th, 17th. I think during this time frame, the deal will get done because the player will definitely agree to come. All you have to do is just activate the release clause. Once the release clause has been activated, I think the deal will be taking place. Just a matter of when, and about Barcelona, organizing or recouping that kind of money to pay the release clause up front. I don't think Ferran will accept installments whatsoever for the release clause. I'm pretty sure they want it up front because for them, Romeu is a very important player. Again, if we don't have 8 million to spend on a transfer, then we're more broke than I thought. So we'll wait and see what happens. But again, there has been some other names dropping here and there that could maybe emerge in the future. I doubt we'll sign either of these two players I'm about to mention this summer, but maybe in the future. First one is a big name. It is Romeu Latvia. Plenty Goal from Sky Germany has come out saying that Barcelona were targeting Latvia, but his price is not affordable for them this summer. His price tag is around 60 million euros, with Arsenal, Chelsea, and especially Liverpool showing the greater interest. So apparently we're in for Latvia. I think he's on loan or was sold from Man City to Southampton. I think they have a favorable buy option, maybe a percent of future sale, something like that. He had a really good season at Southampton, even though they got relegated, and now he's touted to go to another big club in England. Apparently we were interested, then we saw the price, and we left right away. So wait and see on that maybe in future. But there is another Premier League pivot that we have been interested in LinkedIn, and that is one of Chelsea's new midfielders in Andre Santos. This is coming in from the Brazilian media. They come out saying that Barcelona had made contacts with the agents of Andre Santos and Chelsea, but without making any official offer so far. So Deco apparently really likes the player. He's just sniffing around, seeing what's up. I doubt we're going to make an offer for him. What's clear, I think Romano came out saying that no bid from Barcelona, and Pochettino wants to see him in preseason, so 100% he will not leave before that. So this might be one for the future, maybe one we can sneak a loan deal for to give him playing time. If Chelsea see his playing time being difficult, that could be an option. Again, I still think the club need two pivots. Whether they trust Nico for one of those remains to be seen, but if not, I think it should be Romeu plus someone else. If you can get a Santos on loan doubt you can get Latvia on a loan deal for sure when he's touted to go to Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool. They're waiting to pay 50, 60 million euros for him, but we'll be interested to see what Barcelona do to get another pivot. It's clear that Deco is not really in favor of Oriol Romeu, although Xavi says to him, look, this is the best option out there for what I need, and Deco understands that. I think Deco's looking for another younger and also maybe more long-term target, so wait and see on that. But right now it's very clear that Oriol Romeu is a big target for Barcelona, and the deal is expected to take place at some point next week, with heavy negotiations and of course agreeing personal terms and activating the release clause to happen very soon. Now, another position that Xavi wants to strengthen this summer is, of course, the right back position along with the pivot. And as we all know, in the right back position, I talked about this in the last video or 2 videos ago, where Xavi has now convinced Jules Koundé to play at right back more regularly. Of course, back in May, Koundé said, I want to play at center back or I'm going to leave. And now he has accepted to play at right back. He even quote tweeted something on Twitter, I think it was Alberto Menzo, I believe his name is, from Sport. He's one of the lower credible journalists. He came out saying that Koundé wants to leave because he's playing at right back, and Koundé quote tweeted the videos like "good joke," something like that. So it is quite clear Koundé, he kind of sees what happens. He sees the rumors, so I think he's quite confirming there that he's open to play at right back this upcoming season. Now, Javi Miguel from AES came out saying the arrival of Fresneda would not change the idea of Koundé as a right back in Xavi's plans. Only the signing of Joao Cancelo could change that. Fresneda would be a backup, but not a starter. So I expected this. I'm not expecting Fresneda to walk in if we do end up signing him over Koundé. I think what happens is that Koundé will probably start the first month. Once he gets his rest, that's when Fresneda will get his chance. Maybe get his chance October, November time when we have a lot of games coming in, and that's his opportunity to play. If we can get him before preseason, that'd be great as well. But on Cancelo, now, Man City want to get rid of him. Cancelo wants to leave. Again, City are trying to keep Kyle Walker, who's rumored to go to Bayern Munich because they want to sell Cancelo and they need a right back. So Cancelo might, if we can, if Barcelona were healthy, I think they should be picking up both Cancelo and Fresneda. But situation is a situation. So wait and see. I still think there's a bit of a chance we can get Joao Cancelo. Very, very small. I think the club right now, much rather get Fresneda. 10 million, you get the player. 10 million for Cancelo will barely cover a loan fee because City want around 40 million euros for him. So if you want to offer 10 million loan fee, 30 million euro buy option, City might bite for that. But offering 10 million for a loan fee is quite ridiculous. I think if Cancelo was a bit younger, I'd be pushing for him. But with him approaching 30, I'd much rather bet on the young Fresneda. So wait and see what happens. Again, Fresneda did like a post about Vitor Roque joining Barcelona as well. Vitor Roque joining Barcelona as well. But he's a former he's a former Real Madrid player. Apparently Real Madrid are in for him as well. So wait and see with Fresneda. It's all over the place. But it's no doubt that Barcelona do want a new right back this summer. But it will be most likely Jules Koundé starting at right back once the season begins. Now, one player who Barcelona have now officially signed is the signing of Vitor Roque. He has now signed his documents as an official Barcelona player. The signing is not officially announced yet, but the signing is official. Joaquin Pereira from Sports come out saying that Vitor Roque will be a Barcelona footballer in this window, but it's not certain whether he'll be registered now or in January. There is no ultimatum from Atletico Paranaense, has no chance of losing the player. Vitor Roque has no doubt about his future is sealed and that he'll be a Barcelona player. He remains faithful to Barcelona, and he also has been doing so for many months. Vitor Roque has rejected offers which would triple his salary and remain faithful to Barcelona. Clubs like Chelsea, PSG, Manchester United offer him 10 million gross in his first year, while Barcelona are currently giving him 3.5 million gross. Absolute madness. Again, apparently there was no ultimatum from his past club. Apparently there was, apparently there wasn't. Nonetheless, the club have sent the documents in the past 24 to 48 hours. Roger Toledo from Mundo Deportivo also confirmed this, saying that Barcelona have sent the final documents to Atletico Paranaense to complete the Vitor Roque signing so that both the club and the player can sign them. The forecast that the documents were completed either yesterday or today, and of course it was completed yesterday. The initial agreement, this is where the big news comes in. The initial agreement for the fee was 35 million euros fixed plus 10 million euros in variables, but it has changed to 30 million euros fixed, 20 million euros in variables, and another 5 million euros in variables as well if he's in the top 3 of the Ballon d'Or and or wins it. So now apparently, according to reports, the fee for Vitor Roque has change. Joaquin Pereira also confirmed this as well. Again, number one source for Brazilian news. Brazilian players coming to Barcelona. He came out saying the fixed fee for Vitor Roque has decreased from 35 million euros to 30 million euros, but the variables, including individually and the club, have increased from 10 million to 31. Madness. Roque will sign a 6 + 1 year contract with a salary of 35.5 million euros gross in his first year at Barcelona. Again, first year is very crucial because his salary will increase based on his performances, other things like that, if he does reach certain objectives. Now, Roger Tadero from Mundo Deportivo also confirms as well, saying that Vitor Roque, his family, and his agent, Andre Curry, are heading to the city center in Atletico Paranaense to sign the contract for his transfer. At this time, the official announcement is expected either today or tomorrow, but things can change. Brazilian club will keep 20% of a future sale as well. There was a possibility that he could sign him this season if there were departures of players, but finally it was agreed that the player will arrive in January. So I don't know if we can still sign Vitor Roque this summer or not, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Joaquin Pereira also came out saying that Barcelona will pay the 30 million euro fixed fee for Vitor Roque in several installments over the next 4 seasons. So 30 million across 4 seasons. The club have done an absolute masterclass on this deal. Variables included individually and collectively combined are worth a total of 31 million euros. All contracts are signed and only the official announcement is left. So went from 35 fixed plus 10 in variables to 30 fixed plus 30 in variables. So you're looking at total package 60 million euros. Now, for the variables, if they were all achieved, it would mean that Vitor Roque is the best striker in the world, because you're talking 10 million, firstly, which was already agreed upon, games played, certain stuff like that's probably easy to achieve, but the other 20 is going to be on trophies won, accolades, and of course Ballon d'Or clause. Apparently, of that 30 million euros in variables, 10 million of that is just strictly Ballon d'Or clauses if he gets top 3 or if he wins it. So theoretically speaking, we pay 30 fixed. If we pay the 30 in variables, he'll be the best striker in the world. If he wins the Ballon d'Or, he's the best striker in the world. So we'll pay that happily, no worries whatsoever. So theoretically, this summer only, you're paying what? 8 million Vitor Roque right now. Madness of an operation. 30 million over 4 years. Variables very, very difficult to achieve. If they're achieved, we'll happily pay them. If he's the best striker in the world, pay 10 million, 20 million, whatever the case may be. The club will be happy to do it. So overall, fantastic deal from Deco, Laporta, and co. And we should get the official announcement either today or tomorrow for Vitor Roque. Now, of course, now the question is, will he come now or in January? Is there a chance for him to come now? There is, and it is coming in from Javi Miguel from AS. He's come out saying that if Barcelona sell Ferran Torres and Franck, then they could register Vitor Roque this summer. Xavi would like Vitor Roque to join Barcelona this summer, but the situation with FFP makes his arrival likely to be in January 2024. In order for Vitor Roque to join the club this summer, 25 million euros must be cut off the wage bill that needs to be freed up. Barcelona are trying to sell Franck and Ferran Torres this summer in order to register Vitor Roque, and they're moving quickly, but even so, there is no positive sensations within Barcelona that they will be able to do so, so Roque is likely to join in 2024 at the beginning of January. So again, there is possibilities. The issue is, again, the Brazilian market just closed July 30th. You have to get that before, you got to get that deal done before then. That way, Atletico Paranaense can get a replacement in as well. Then you're looking at selling these two players, very difficult, mainly for Ferran Torres. Think of an offer comes in Franck, different. So technically, we won't see him until the new year, which kind of sucks. They're going to go, first 4 or 5 months of the season without a backup striker. It's going to be very interesting to see what Barcelona do. Will they sign a player to come in for 6 months? I have no idea what player that would be. Would they bring in Aubameyang for 6 months? You know what? I'd do it. I really, really would. Then he can maybe go join a Saudi Arabia club, whatever the case may be. But I think going in that first 4 months of the season without a backup or even competition for Lewandowski is very, 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 very risky. But we'll wait and see. Nonetheless, the signing of Vitor Roque is done, signed, sealed, and delivered. 30 million euro fixed, paid over 4 years, and 30 million euros in variables. Let's now discuss the players who have been rumored to leave Barcelona over the past 48 hours. First up, we do have an update on the first team sales, the first team players who are still on the market. Javi Miguel from AS came out saying that Barcelona's transferable players this summer are still Ansu Fati, Ferran Torres, Franck, and Eric Garcia. But Barcelona are now moving quickly with the sales of Ferran Torres and Franck. Does he mean quickly that the sales are almost done? Does he mean that quickly they're talking to clubs, trying to offer them, multiple places? Apparently, Eric Garcia and Lenglet have been offered to Juventus in recent hours as well. So we'll wait and see on that sense. But again, it is Ferran Torres and Franck who the club are trying to sell and push out the most. With Ansu Fati and for Eric Garcia, it's different. Miguel said that although Eric Garcia and Ansu Fati are on the Barcelona transfer market, they still see value in Ansu Fati, and Xavi has full confidence in Eric Garcia. So Eric Garcia, Ansu Fati, they can still end up staying in the club, very, very likely on that. I do hope that Ansu does stay. Hopefully he does have a remontada season. But with Ferran Torres and Franck, the club really want to get rid of them. And to be honest, I don't see why. The issue is with Ferran Torres, it's going to be difficult. The guy does not want to leave. He wants to prove that data is wrong, which again, it's fair. He has a contract, makes sense. Franck a bit more open to it. Apparently, according to Mundo Deportivo, Franck will be getting little to no minutes. Actually, let's talk about Franck right now. We do have the report from Mundo Deportivo. They came out saying that Xavi has told Kessie that if he stays, he will have fewer minutes than his first season at Barcelona, which I don't really think that's true, but maybe the club want to push that agenda. Fair enough. Kessie wants to stay one more year because he feels he has not been able to show his full potential. He has offers in Saudi Arabia, but the player wasn't joining the top team either in the Premier League or Bundesliga in case he has to leave. Fewer minutes? I don't know. I mean, right now we've lost, we lost two midfielders and we brought in one. So I don't understand how Kessie is going to get less minutes. We lost Busquets. Pablo Torre is going to go on loan. So currently only have Pedri, De Jong, and Gavi, and Kessie. And then you have Gundogan, that's 5. Then you have Oriol Romeu coming in 6. I don't know how his minutes will decrease. I think this is kind of an agenda from the media to let Kessie know to hit the high road. But again, we'll wait and see. I think these sales will take a very, very long time. If we sell someone by the end of July, in the first team, of course, loanees, we'll talk about them in a few seconds, but in the first team, if we sell someone by the end of July, I would be shocked. I think right now the club right now are focused on the loan players, the youth team players, and then they'll probably move on to the other players. I think, Ferran Torres, Franck will only attract interest when you get into the last few weeks of the window, when clubs start to get desperate. They want just someone to come in who's decent. That's when Ferran Torres and Franck are your main guys. I talked about this with Memphis Depay last summer as well. One way left in the window, decent striker who's available for cheap. Memphis Depay is your guy. Same with Ferran Torres and Franck, decent forward or midfielder, available for a good price. They're your guys. So I'll wait and see. I think their sales will be difficult, but again, the club needs sales this summer to register not only Nico Martinez and Ilkay Gundogan, but also the contract renewals and maybe even Vitor Roque and possible other signings like Oriol Romeu and maybe a right back in Fresneda. Now, of course, Barcelona do have multiple players returning from their loan moves who are generating some interest, mainly apparently from Real Betis. Now, of course, Real Betis' current sporting director is the former sporting director of Barcelona, Ramon Planes, and apparently he's sniffing around at some Barcelona talent. Now, Ferran Martinez, Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Real Betis are currently interested in 5 Barcelona youngsters: Collado, Arnau Tenas, Pablo Torre, Nico Gonzalez, and Abde, and then he followed up by giving an update on all of their futures. So let's get into it. Firstly, on Collado, Collado's exit is the most advanced currently. The plan for him is for him to leave for free, with Barcelona keeping a percent of the future sale. Some fringes are remaining. It's advanced, but not imminent yet. So Collado will get that Ricky Puig /Benguet the exit from last summer. He'll leave for free, with Barcelona keeping a percent of a future sale, maybe a buyback option, somewhere like that. Now, on Arnau Tenas, Ramon Planes has already contacted his agent. He has other offers too, but Barcelona want to renew his contract first. Again, Arnau Tenas had a fantastic campaign for the Under-21 Euro Championship, but they did lose in the final, unfortunately. Again, renewing him or signing him essentially is going to be pivotal. Then once we do sign him, he will immediately go out on loan. Pablo Torre, I'm talking with the sporting sector and Xavi. He has decided to leave on loan, along with Betis, Celta Vigo, Villarreal, Real Sociedad, and Valencia are interested. However, he is in no hurry to decide his future, and he will join preseason on Monday, of course, tomorrow. Very, very interesting. For me, that makes no sense. It makes more sense to join your team currently on loan. Simple loan deal, rest of the season, no buyback option, cover his wages, bish, bash, bosh. Also, get integrated in your team as well. Do their preseason. That way you can integrate with the manager's philosophy and his tactics. Keeping him now for him makes no sense. But nonetheless, Pablo Torre will leave on loan at some point this summer. On Nico, this is a very interesting one. Nico Gonzalez's future depends on how the squad is. For now, he will join preseason with Barcelona, and if he has to leave on loan, Real Betis is an option he likes, but he has other offers as well. So for Nico, it's, wait and see kind of thing. I think 100% he'll do preseason, 100% he'll be on that plane to America, and hopefully Xavi does play around with him in the pivot and see how he performs. Now finally, on Abde going to Betis on loan is very difficult because Xavi is counting on him, and even more so if no wingers are signed. Only irrefutable offers for selling him will be considered. The player's objective is to convince the coaches and stay at Barcelona. Now what we just talked about Vitor Roque, we're now having 5 forwards, of course. Ansu, Fati, Ferran, Rafinha, Dembus, Lewandowski. 5 forwards. You have 3, you need 3 backups. Lewandowski does not have a backup. Now you could move Ansu, Fati, or Ferran to be that coverage in the number 9 position, and then you have Abde coming in. So the Abde signing does make sense. Again, if he wants to play week in, week out, we can't give him that. If a big offer comes in, the club very much might consider it and probably borderline will accept it. I think anything over 30 million euros, the club should take straight away, take their hand off and take that deal. Other than that, they might negotiate. I think, again, if Abde leaves, it'll definitely be around August time. It'll be after preseason. He's 100% going to be on that plane to America, and we'll wait and see how that develops. Now, finally, we do have an update on the future of Serginho Dest as well. Fran Martinez from Deportivo came out saying that Barcelona wants to transfer Serginho Dest, but the club might have to accept a loan as nobody seems willing to pay a fee for the player. So no one wants Dest on a permanent transfer. They only get loan offers, and if that's the case, the club will accept the loan offer for him. Again, Dest has no future at Barcelona. Heard some niggling reports saying that, or opinions, you could say that, Dest would be giving another chance at Barcelona, yada, yada, yada. No, if the manager does not back you, no point whatsoever. Xavi made his opinion very clear last summer. He does not rate Dest. He does not want Dest. Fair enough. You have Julian Araujo. You have Jules Koundé who covered there for a bit. You do need to sign someone. So I think the right back option for Dest at Barcelona is very much null and void. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. But there will be, of course, another player who could possibly be going on loan this summer, especially after preseason, and that is Julian Araujo. Again, Fran Martinez from Deportivo came out saying that Xavi will test Julian Araujo in preseason, and if he does not convince him, he'll leave on loan to gain experience in Europe. So again, the plan for Julian Araujo, very, very simple, very similar to the other ones like Nico Gonzalez and Abde. Do preseason. If he does well, he'll stay. He'll have a coverage and competition for whoever we sign at right back, whether it be Fresneda or Cancelo. If he does crap and does not impress whatsoever, then he will be pushed to go out on loan. So again, the club do have a clear objective what they want to do with the loan players coming in and also with the loan players possibly going out. Let's now discuss some contract renewal updates around the first team at Barcelona. Just one update, not even our first team player, actually a juvenile A player, and that's of course Lamine Yamal, who will be turning 16 this Thursday, July 13th. Well, of course, he will be eligible to sign his first professional contract. And Roger Delero from Deportivo has come out saying that Lamine Yamal will renew with Barcelona for 5 seasons with a significant salary improvement once he turns 16 on July the 13th. Barcelona bets heavily on him at the club. Everyone from the presidency, the coaches, and the sports sector have blind faith in him. Lamine Yamal will be part of preseason. He will be on the tour for the USA. For next season, the plans to stay in the first team dynamics, but also play regularly with Barca Athletic. So again, you'll have that kind of Pablo Gabe role, also Pablo Torre role, where he will train with Barcelona week in, week out with the first team. He'll play for Rafa Marquez in the Barcelona B team, Barcelona Athletic, and when the opportunity comes about, he will get his chance in the first team. Again, he's only one spot away. If we do have the 5 players, Ansu, Ferran, Lewandowski, Rafinha, Dembele, you keep Abde, one of them goes down, one of them gets injured, Lamine Yamal is next in line. He'll be on the bench, no doubt about that, coming in games. If he impresses, then we could maybe force his loan players in January or sell, so that's going to be up to him to reform when he's given the chance. So wait and see what happens with Lamine Yamal, but again, expect a contract renewal at some point, announcing on Friday, maybe even Thursday if the club are very, very quick on it. He will renew for 5 years with a significant salary increase. Again, all agree between Barcelona and his agent Jorge Mendes, and he will sign his first professional contract with Barcelona. 1.5 months after Barcelona's last official match, the club now are back and preparing for the upcoming season, as the start of preseason will be taking place tomorrow. The schedule for the upcoming week is as follows. Of course, tomorrow we'll have medical checkups physically and of course medically. Next day after that will be a double training session. Following day, one single day training session. After that will be a rest, then a double training session, single training session, and then a rest. And then on the 19th, they will be traveling to America for the tour. Now, Javi Miguel from AS came out with some squad updates in regards to that tour list for America. He came out saying that Alicron, Casado, Hernandez, Lopez, Estanias, Chad Riyad, Lamine Yamal, Pau Prim, Marc Guerreiro, Mikel Fay, and Diego Cuchin are some of the B team players who will be called up for Xavi on July the 10th for the preseason training, as some players still returning late from being out on international duty. Like these players following up: Lewandowski, Ter Stegen, Gundogan, De Jong, Dembele, Koundé, Christensen, Gavi, Ansu Fati, and also Kessie and Tenas, if they both stay, are expected to join preseason training from July the 18th, as they were out with their national team. So these players will come back a day before we go out on the tour, and they will be, of course, on that tour list as well. So depending on what players come back, who signed, that'll be, creating space for those B team players. Now, for the B team players, I think Chad Riyad will be in that list for sure, alongside Lamine Yamal. Mikel Fay will definitely be there as well. I think Casado, Pau Prim will be there for sure. I think the rest will be subject to who's available and who's not, like Alicron, Estanias, even with Unai Lopez, Marc Guerreiro as well. So it depends on who players are coming in, coming out. If the club want to, leave out the likes of Lenglet and all these things like that. Because apparently Lenglet might be on tour as well. But one player who will not be on the American tour is Gustavo Maya. Ferran Martinez Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Rafa Marquez is not counting on Gustavo Maya, and the club doesn't bet on him either. Everything points to his contract being terminated, and of course he will not be part of the preseason training sessions for the first team and will not travel to the America, according to Javi Miguel from AS. So again, Gustavo Maya, current salary is like 1.7 a year or something ridiculous like that. You gotta get rid of him. We do have some squad updates on players who have big seasons coming up. One of course being Ansu Fati. Gabriel Sanz from Deportivo's come out saying that Ansu Fati has followed a specific physical plan during the holidays to try and regain his best level, especially working on his strength. He continues to believe that he can still do well at Barcelona. Hopefully that is the case. And other players who are very dedicated on the return to Barcelona, one of them being, of course, Alejandro Balde. Mundo Deportivo's come out saying that Alejandro Balde has during his vacation has been training alone at the Ciudad Esportiva since a week, with the aim of being 100% at the start of preseason. Following their injury, he suffered of course against Mallorca, which I saw in the stand. And of course, Nico Martinez has recently joined him. And Nico Martinez just had surgery as well. He's coming off a niggling injury as well. He's there with Balde at the Sports City, trying to train, trying to get fully fit for the start of preseason tomorrow. Let's now discuss some of the news surrounding Barcelona over the past 48 hours. One thing that's come out that's really rightly pissed me off is this Neto saga. So let's go through it quickly and then I'll give you guys my thoughts and of course analyze the situation. Now, reports are coming in from the Valencia media saying that Barcelona will pay 4 million euros to Valencia for Neto's exit. You're probably wondering, Neto left 2 years ago, what the heck? Hear me out. Neto's transfer from Valencia to Barcelona in 2019 had 26 million euros fixed and 9 million euros in variables, of which 3 was already paid. The other 6 was to be paid when Neto left Barcelona on loan or on a permanent transfer. So you're telling me we're going to pay Valencia, that Bartomeu agreed to pay Valencia 6 million euros if we end up selling or loaning Neto? I don't know, man. I don't know. For almost a year, Barcelona argued that since they had given Neto the letter of freedom to join Bournemouth, he neither left on loan nor a sale. Valencia, however, were clear that it was just Barcelona maneuvering to avoid to pay the 6 million euros. Now, since of course last summer I was very disappointed that we didn't sell Neto, this probably wasn't the reason why. That if we sold him for 2 or 3 million, we had to pay 6 to Valencia, which how did this man run the club? I mean, I'm starting to believe that if he can become president, so can I. But now Barcelona have reached an agreement in compensation with Valencia for around 4 million euros to avoid going to court. Of course, if you go to court, you find it, it's going to cost you way more in legal battles and stuff, and then you end up paying the 6 on top, probably going to cost you 10, so just pay 4 now. So we agreed with Valencia, instead of paying 6, to pay 4. I mean, I'm going to buy a piece of bread. If I eat it, I'm fine. But if I end up selling the bread, or letting it to a friend. I had to pay the baker more money. I mean, where does that make sense? When I read this, I'm like, is someone that dumb? Like, I don't know. Now, one person we don't owe money to, of course, there were some reports as well coming out saying that we still owe money to Messi, which of course he deferred his salary. It makes perfect sense. But one person we don't owe money to is Ronald Koeman. He was doing an interview with Cope, talking his gob right up about, I would trust in a young pivot, and the club didn't give me money, whatever. He said that, look, the club owes me no money. They owe me nothing. They fully paid me for everything, for my sacking, my salary, whatever the case may be. So that's good news. We don't owe someone any money, but we do owe Valencia around 4 million euros for compensation for the Neto operation. Now, along with the Neto news, another news that made me raise my eyebrow when I read it was the news of the fact that Edu Polo from Mundo Deportivo, a journalist who have reported his news multiple times on the channel, will be joining Xavi's communication team. This is coming in from Relevo. They've come out saying that Xavi has incorporated former Deportivo journalist Edu Polo into his staff. He has extensive knowledge in communication and also been covering Barcelona news for 25 years. I've been reading his news for about 10 of those. Edu Polo will be in charge of advising Xavi on communication and preparing him for press conferences as well. Carlo Ancelotti, Pep Guardiola, and Diego Simeone also have similar figures with them as well. So Xavi leveling up, bringing in someone who's a part of the media to his team to help manipulate the media. I mean, this cannot be this cannot go wrong. Again, you want to make sure when you're in the media that you speak clearly and also that you don't give anything away. Xavi has done that a little bit. He's been quite open with the Messi operation, even though Messi's under contract with PSG and other things as well over the past year, where he's really come out and really been like 100% honest, whether it's on player's future, club situation. Although the club situation is a bit different, but player sales, player conversations, especially with the one with Koundé that he talked about with the Bidlet game. I think that was like the second last game of the season, something like that. So overall, I think this would be a great appointment. Again, you're bringing someone who's experienced. I've been reading Edu Polo's articles for years and years and years now, so perfect appointment in my opinion, and we'll wait and see how things improve with Xavi's communication towards the media and also with leaks as well. Now, the final topic that I want to discuss before I end off this video is to give you guys an update on why Barcelona are absolutely furious with Nike, and it's again in regards to the new kit launch. Now, Cat Radio are reporting that Barcelona are unhappy with Nike for the shirt supply. The club fears that they will run out of stock for the first team shirts for the second successive year. Barcelona ordered 90,000 units of jerseys, and until now they've only received half. Yo, Nike is slacking now. I've seen a lot of people saying, bring in Adidas, bring in Puma, whatever the case may be. Look, we're under a long-term deal with Nike. That's not going to change. Well, the best thing Barcelona can do is ask for compensation, which of course they did last year as well. Of course, last year Nike were having faults because they couldn't put the Spotify logo in time and all this stuff. But again, they're doing it 2 years back-to-back. I mean, Steph Curry can go back-to-back, but Nike can't go back-to-back. I mean, hopefully the club push for compensation if they do end up running out. Again, we're not fully out of stock quite yet. Remember last year I couldn't get my first team kit and the second kit until like World Cup time, like November, December. So it shows how the supply is very low, but also positively the demand is very, very high. Again, we're hearing right now that Pedri's kit now is the #1 selling kit for the players, along with Gavi and Lewandowski. But again, Nike can't be doing this, man. So hopefully the club can ask for compensation with the lack of kits being supplied. If the club are requesting 9,000 units, they're only getting half of that. That's very, very poor. If you're mixing, the final 10%, 50%, you can say, yeah, you know what, maybe it's a full, whatever, but half back-to-back years, there's an issue to be said there. So we'll see what Barcelona do decide with the Nike team. But again, if they're falling through again, the club could be asking for some compensation in terms of course, money. So that was my reaction to the Barcelona news over the past 48 hours. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and of course send me your thoughts down below in the comments on everything we discussed. And maybe firstly, of course, your thoughts on Oriol Romeu being the reinforcement in the pivot position. Your thoughts on the right back situation as well with even Fresneda, Joao, Cancelo, and Jules Koundé. Thirdly, on the Vitor Roque operation being completed and also on the changes of the fixed fee and variables. Fourthly, your thoughts on all the sales, whether it's the loan players and also the first team players. And finally, your thoughts on Nike again slacking with producing Barcelona's new kits. And of course, make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next time on the channel. Take care and Forza Barca.